So we've had an unnaturally warm winter here in Missouri. It's very odd. I'm not complaining, but what's interesting is a lot of these fragrances behind me that I really wish I could be wearing right now, the really heavy ones, really dark ones, it's still a little too warm to be wearing them. So we're gonna go over a list today of fragrances that are fresh for those of you that love freshies that never really want to get into the darker things. But these fragrances, while being fresh, they have enough backbone behind them and enough interesting elements to make them perfectly wearable during the winter months, especially when it's a little bit warmer like it is here. So if you are interested in fresh fragrances with backbone that work perfectly well in the winter months, stick around. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick, also known as Scent Nick. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you're new here, I create fragrance content in the form of detailed reviews with the occasional list such as today. If that is something that interests you, please consider hitting that like button, drop a comment of a fragrance you'd like to hear about, and join our community by hitting the red subscribe button. And if you've been here for a while, please consider joining our channel as a member and seeing what all is going on and how you can continue to dive deeper into what we're doing. And now let's get onto this list. So I don't normally use samples in these kind of videos because I like to have the full bottle and really show you the full presentation, but I have a couple samples that I've been wearing lately that the fragrances really fit the bill for this video, and I wanted to highlight them. The first one is from the House of Gentleman's Nod, and it's called MizuKaze. This is what the art looks like. This one is a stellar fragrance. And before I get into it, if this resonates with you at all, or any Gentleman's Nod fragrances, you can use code SCENTNIC10 at checkout. It'll save you 10% on your order, and it gives me a small kickback, which is greatly appreciated. Now, MizuKaze is another flanker in the Musashi line, which is all based around the note of tea. And this one is kind of the perfect tea fragrance for the winter time because it has these really cool fresh and zesty elements with greenness, with woods, with depth, and the tea note. There's peppermint in this, which you get a gorgeous burst of peppermint right off the bat. It's really cooling, really invigorating. You get the yuzu, which is in all of the fragrances. You get a nice blue ginger, which again adds to that zest, to that cooling vibe. You get some lavender giving a little bit of this soapy floral touch, and in the base you get some resin from frankincense, you get vetiver, cypriol. It's a really wonderful fragrance with really great performance, especially for a tea fragrance. So check out MizuKaze from Gentleman's Nod, especially if you like a nice tea fragrance, and especially one that's not going to break the bank. The other sample that we're going to be talking about today is from the House of Memo. This is French leather. This is one that I got to experience at Scent Explore, and this really helped me fall back in love with Memo. I hadn't really, I guess, fallen out of love, but I never really dived in, and this fragrance is amazing. And you may be like, Nick, leather fragrances aren't really fresh. Well, this one is, and it's not an outright leather fragrance, as are many of the leather line from Memo. This one has this amazing opening of lime, juniper. You get a really watery and kind of aromatic rose. That's the star here, is the rose, paired with a nice deep base of suede and stearax and a little bit of vetiver. The entire wearing is very fresh overall, but namely the note you're picking up on is the rose. So you get fresh and depth at the same time. It's fantastic. This reminds me of walking through a flower garden after the morning dew. It's gorgeous, and it works really well as a fresh fragrance with a little bit of backbone. The next one I want to talk about, I recently reviewed, and rumor is it's sticking around. So if you were hoping to pick up this fragrance, now's your chance. This is Chanel's Allure Homme Sport Superleggera. Now this is obviously the Allure Homme line, but it's surprisingly light with a good amount of power, and it has a nice, thick, and rich base. Great citruses on top. It's really musky, it's really woody, and got some nice resin down in the base as well. This thing is super musky. There's something about this, like, it's fresh, it's aromatic, but it's deep at the same time while remaining light at the same time. The performance is great. I have no issues wearing this in the cooler times, especially in these fringe months where it's still 50, 60 degrees. I think this thing works phenomenal for that kind of thing. If you want a really great designer fragrance that is fresh and deep at the same time, go check out Chanel's Allure Homme Sport Superleggera. It's really good, and from what I understand, it's sticking around, so rejoice with that. Okay, this one I have so much love for. It's one of my favorite from the house, and it always works. This is Signature Royale from Zaharoff. This is just the original Signature Royale. This thing is a very nice, fresh, deep, woody, and musky fragrance. The opening, you get a really nice green cardamom. It's not overly warm. It is more on the fresh, spicy side of cardamom. You get some juniper. You get a good amount of lavender in this. You get apple and other citruses. You get a touch of florals, but really where the magic is the base of this one. There is cashmere woods, there's resin, there's a tiny bit of oud. You get sandalwood, you get some vanilla, ambery notes. This thing is mature, it's masculine, it's fresh, it's very sexy, and it really is just a gorgeous, fresh fragrance that will work well any time of year, but it does a surprisingly good job at being appropriate for the winter time, but maintaining freshness. This one is probably my favorite or next to favorite freshie from the house. This one's gonna be Météore from Louis Vuitton. This is another one of those freshies that it works all year round, in my opinion. All kinds of vibrant citruses on top, but you get a good amount of jasmine, neroli, florals in the heart, but then the base, you get all these peppers, you get wood, you get musk. This thing performs really well. It's soapy, clean, kind of scratchy in a really good way. It's got depth, it's got lasting power, it's got projecting power. I adore this fragrance. It's not loved by the most, but there is a surprising amount of people that think that this is better than Imagination, which I'm in that camp personally. And I do think that this is an underrated freshie for the cooler weather. Kind of in the same vein, this thing is also just a knockout freshie that works all year round. It's got plenty of power for the winter months. This is Gentle Fluidity Silver from MFK. Now this one is going to feature juniper berry. That's one of the most prominent notes, especially in the opening, giving this really crisp, cooling vibe. You get some tart citruses on top, but they don't last the longest. There is an interesting pineapple note in here, but I've never really picked up on it. Maybe just a little bit of the juicy sweetness. The coriander in the heart is really prevalent in this, and that's probably the biggest playing note in this fragrance. You've also got a good amount of wood in the base with musk, amber, and vanilla. The vanilla is very subtle, the amber is subtle. It's the cedar and the musk, in my opinion, that really fill out the base, that make this thing work, that give it some lasting power. This thing is smooth, it's well-rounded, it's really a compliment magnet, and it works shockingly well for whatever situation you would ever want. And it's not your typical freshie. It's really cooling, kind of metallic, very aromatic, that kind of thing. So definitely check out Gentle Fluidity Silver from MFK, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. This next one is from a house that I don't really care for. I only have 2 of the fragrances. I sold my other ones, and this one though just seems to stick around because I do appreciate it. I don't really wear it anymore, but this was a freshie that I would go to in the cooler months. This is Mancera's Intense Cedrat Boise, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know exactly why that's on this list, because it's really fresh in the opening, and you get like this really lemon candy kind of thing going on in there. You get the citruses, you get spices, you get a little bit of a black currant note, lots of wood in the heart. You get a synthetic oud in here. It's actually very rich, very deep. There's leather, there's patchouli in there, there's a lot of musk. I mean, if you know Mancera's, they're known for being a little on the synthetic side, but they also perform very well. This thing is very deep, very rich, and performs excellently. At least mine does. This was like the first batch that was ever created, or next to it, one of those. I don't know for sure, but It's really great. It's bordering into the Aventus DNA because you get a little bit of that oak moss in here as well. But this thing really works and it doesn't break the bank. It's a great price and it's a straight to Parfum, so it sticks around and there's nothing I could really complain about. I mean, it is what it is. So yeah. This next one is a very curious one. It is relatively new and there's a good chance many of you have not heard about it unless you follow Omar over at School of Scent and Atrium Fragrances. This is Mr. Cerulean from Atrium Fragrances. And this is a super cool fresh fragrance that has the ability to be worn all year round. This is worked around the note of blueberry. Now, the blueberry note doesn't last the longest in there, but it is a gorgeous and vibrant blueberry note when you first spray it on, paired with lemon, elemi resin, giving this peppery, resinous vibe right off the bat, but also a lot of musk, a good amount of amber, and some woods, and a little bit of apple. This thing shocked me. I am not used to a fragrance like this. If you like a muskier fragrance with a lot of fruity tenacity, a little bit of sweetness, but like it's surprisingly mature and well refined, this one does great. It's a straight to Parfum again. It performs very well. 8 hours easy and a good projection. With this one, you can use code NICK10. It will save you 10% on your order from Atrium Fragrances. So definitely check this one out. It's surprisingly good. A lot of his line is actually fantastic. But this is the one I wanted to highlight for this, and it's one I really look forward to wearing quite a bit more in the warmer months. So if you like blueberry, you like lemon, woods, and musk, use code NICK10, go check this one out, and you won't regret it. This is a house that does not get talked about near enough, and my good friend David, he's actually one of our members on the channel, he gifted this to me. Well, I guess we traded technically. This is Ormonde Jayne's Montabaco Intensivo. I cannot tell you how much I adore this fragrance. This thing is peppery, woody, aromatic, cooling. There's a mountain air accord in this, juniper berries, citruses, lots of wood, lots of florals. There's this tea note, there's tobacco in this, obviously with the name, cedarwood, isoe super. Holy crap, I love this one. There's also a decent amount of ambergris in this. This thing has got tenacity. This thing is so underrated. It's clean, it's fresh, it's woody, it does everything you could ever ask it for. It performs really well. This thing gets a crazy amount of compliments, except for some people get a little bit of a headache vibe from this, but I cannot recommend you enough to go check this fragrance out, or really just Ormonde Jayne in general, because they are phenomenal. So check that one out. That one's Montabaco Intensivo from Ormonde Jayne. I know many of you have tried this one and you love it. So that's that one. And wrapping us up, we're gonna do Elysium Parfum. Now this one, yes, that's the Parfum, you can tell by the cap. This is the special edition, so don't seek out this bottle. These things are going for a lot right now. Just get the original Parfum version. This is your classic Elysium DNA. Very bright and citric with woods, amber, a little bit of incense, some bitter herbals, but darker and richer. I shouldn't really say darker, it's just richer. It's got a lot more tenacity to it. The leather is a little more amped up. The animalics are a little more prevalent, but still not animalic. This thing will cut through the cold like none other. It performs so well. There is so much cleanliness, so much freshness. It is impeccably easy to wear. I cannot highly recommend enough that you go check out Elysium Parfum, especially if you like a blue fragrance with niche quality and performs so well. Guys, all of that said, these are 10 fragrances, in my opinion, that work fantastic as a fresh fragrance for the colder months. Let me know your thoughts on the list and what would be your cold weather go-to freshie. Drop in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the like button and join our community by hitting the red subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.